Tonight, fight over multi-million-dollar Akwetia diamond mine between the Jospon group of companies and government rages on as a fact-finding mission rubbishes claims of a $20 million investment and calls bluff of Jospon group over contempt of court charges.
So if he wants and he thinks that is a court issue why we have taken over, there's only one route, which is cite a contempt, isn't it? And so why hasn't he done it for a whole week since I came here last week?
So what is the state's plan for the great consolidated Diamonds Ghana Limited following the controversial takeover? We have the latest. And Topstory is always brought to you by Bond Savings and Loans. Your success, our passion, also brought to you by Gasem Cement, the nation builder. Vodafone, the future is exciting, ready. It is a multi-million-dollar worth diamonds mine, and right now there is a raging battle over its control between the Jospon group of companies, which also owns Zoomlion, and the government. Today, Asamoah Boateng, who heads the state interest and governance authority, led a high-powered team to the mine in Akwetia and came away talking tough, dismissing claims by the Jospon group that they had invested $20 million into the mine. Well, again today, Asamoah Boateng had also rubbished claims of the purchase of the mine at $17 million. He says that price is peanuts, and also claims that the company had only paid $3.8 million of the total sum for the particular mine. Currently, there is a heavy military presence on the premises of the mine as government enforces its takeover of this particular mine. We're also learning tonight there are already plans in place to sell off the mine, which Jospon is currently still fighting. Aspect of this case is already in court. Asamoah Boateng has called the bluff of the Jospon group of companies, saying they should sue him for contempt if they believe that they've done something wrong. We'll be going live to Akwetia shortly and speak to Mr. Asamoah Boateng, but also speak to Jospon. Listen to him making the case, detailing what an interim committee that has been set up is going to do and the plan to sell it off as well.
Well, the timelines are not long. I have asked them to come back to me, having looked at the situation on the ground. I'm not looking beyond 6 months. I think they should be able to put things together very quickly, and then the state must decide how to take care of the assets. I don't think state must be involved in buying itself. So obviously the public will be informed, and the whole international community and Ghanaians, whoever is interested, bring their proposal and we'll look at it.
Is there any special auditing of any sort? Any special auditing or investigation that is going on?
Well, some few things are going on, but I won't disclose it. There are some few things I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. And we'll see how they gain access without payment and how things have been taken away here. So inventory and stuff like that, where are they? Well, a few things. And what happened to the monies? Because we, as I said, I've seen receipts, but I can't track them, and I'm tracking it. If I do, if I don't, then we'll ask the question. But at the end of the day, we sit down and ask questions.
Do you foresee the future?
Premature. It may well be, but I don't know. It's premature. But let me get to the facts. And once the facts are known, it's not me. Attorney General Department is a government lawyer. A government lawyer would advise. Well, really, there's no mining going on. As you can see, there's no mining going on. And immediately, it's a rundown place. So, in terms of getting things running immediately, I'm not sure we can do that now. But of course, the first thing to stabilize the place is to take it over as a state, look at the legal size and everything in terms of how do we get it back as a government ownership, and also look at what are the immediate things we can do. So, the short-term thing we can do. Electricity is not here. The doctor, which of you get to know, is not even having electricity. The community don't have one. I think those things are short-term, can be handled. Water is not here. A few things, but the medium to long term is how to get this whole concession repackaged, and maybe new investors if they want to come in, and whether we want to do it as a complete total investment or take them into bits, maybe the hospital on its own, or the construction side, or the equipment or maintenance, whatever it is. Let the IMC come up with some ideas.
Well, some background to this. I mean, the Equatorial Diamond Mines was placed on divestiture some time back. It took a long time, but in 2011, Joseph Siana Japan, who owns Zoom Lion, stepped in and bought it. At that time, it was originally priced for $70 million, which in itself is a subject of controversy tonight. He has operated it for a while until very recently, as recent as last week, the government stepped in, military men stormed the premises and took over the mine amidst several allegations. Tonight, Stephen Asamoah, who heads the government, the State Interest and Governance Authority, has been explaining officially why the state took over. My colleague Akable traveled with him to the site and joins me on the telephone line right now. Joseph, he's been explaining officially why the state intervened.
Yes, Evans, and he makes the point that the company, the state for that matter, is interested in how assets that belong to the nation are managed, and that once they realized that the assets were not being handled in a manner that they had envisaged when the divestiture started, they thought it wise to move in to protect the assets first and foremost, and also to ensure that the livelihoods of people who depend on those assets are also met. He says that the agreement they signed with the Jospon Group has breached several aspects of it, for which reason they have decided to step in to secure the state assets. You can listen to him.
As I said to you, the state has an interest to protect. My job is to protect the state's assets for the people of Ghana. And if property has been divested and you are not honoring the agreement, simple agreement of payment and business plans and what to put you in charge, and it's not coming, and the state is not benefiting, I am afraid, having called you for sitting down and being ignored and all that, we have to take a decision. And the decision was to take repossesses, and it's in the agreement. If I had I'll probably show it to you later at the hospital. You see the agreement where they breached. And government or the state can get better returns than it has been. $17 million peanuts for a plant like this with the kind of land here. Here is about 347,000 square kilometers. The concession area is about 92,000 kilometers, but then beyond that there are other lands, gold and diamonds. The concession, I believe, was for diamond, but then they veered into the gold side as I get into the other side. Then we cannot sit down for something you haven't paid and you are breaching agreement. And we saw the sun winning, the trucks which are going. That's by the company, and I hear every day they take about 25 to 30 trips, 500 Ghana each every day. And where does the money go? I don't know. You should tell me.
Joseph, one of the key reasons why we also know the state intervened and took over the mine is a controversy, and you've heard Asamoah talk about breaches. It's one of the breaches being that the Jospon Group were expected to invest in the mine. The Jospon Group maintains that they put in as much as $20 million into the mine as investment. That in itself is a subject of some controversy. Now, when you went to the site today, do you see any evidence of that investment on the ground?
And so, Evans, we visited a number of facilities here on the site. It's a huge parcel of land. We went to their central workshop. We went to the machine shop. We visited the bungalows for the staff and also the quarters.
Hello, Joseph. We appear to have lost him there. Let's try and get him back on the line on this very important part, because I want to independently confirm for you what he saw as far as that particular part of this controversy is concerned. Asamoah Boateng himself has a verdict on that today and claims that there is no evidence on the ground to show that the Jospin Group of companies had in fact invested $20 million to upgrade the mine as they should have under the contract. Listen to him.
Has been. You've been around with us. You've gone through the bungalows. You've been to the plants. You've been to. You've seen on the way coming. You've gone to the junior officers bungalow area. Did you see any 20 million investment in here? Maybe I didn't go to school, so I can't value anything.
Tell us what you saw and what you have been told by your experts.
Yeah.
Well, I cannot see 20 million investments here. Simple.
Do you see any investments?
Haven't seen anything.
The power.
Paperwork.
No. There hasn't been any evidence of 20 million in any sort of paper I have come across. It's a conjecture, and I'm told it's a plan that somebody prepared for them, and that plan is only a plan. But I haven't seen a 20 million investment anywhere that they use it to buy this, buy that, or invest in that. Nothing.
If it's a plan somebody prepared for them,
I've heard that there's a plan, and I would get to the plan. I want to see the plan, but there's no investment. That's the point I'm making. The plan is different from investment. In fact, the original plan was to invest 100 million, and about 2,500 employments, isn't it? Generate employment, and then revive this or rehabilitate this site. None of them has been fulfilled, and it's a part of the breach of the agreement.
Beyond those mentioned, are there other breaches that you've also identified? Well, it's about the employment and investment you speak of beyond that.
Well, the hospital is one. I mean, we'll go there, you see it. If there's here they don't even have drugs to operate. I have picked up signals of even the school authorities. It's a preparatory school, and they can't even pay them.
Joseph is back on the line. Joseph, what did you see yourself?
So, Evans, for some of the facilities we visited, they did not have access to power because we understand that the company is indebted to VRA, for which reason they've disconnected their access to power. Same with the settlement. In terms of the facilities, again, the central workshop and the machine shop, which is supposed to repair equipment that is used here. Some of the equipment in there were rusted to the extent that they had actually broken off. And we asked the persons who manned them as to when those equipment were brought in. And they make the point that these are equipment that some of them even said they've worked there for 28 years. They said when they came in, those equipment were there. And they were not new equipment that have been brought in. It was just one of the plants that we visited that we were told that some additional equipment were brought in. But those were pipes and those were additional ones that were brought to support the plant itself. Those are plants, they call them washing plants. They are the plants that once they pick the rocks, they wash them in there and they extract the diamond from it. There was one of the plants that were showed, it's called plant 10. That plant, unlike the other one, had its parts completely removed. And so instead of a huge imposing plant that we are told used to be the case, it's rather just a simple block structure that we can see, and it doesn't have the attached equipment. And so for those who are familiar with the mining place, they are supposed to have more or less like metals that connect the various structures such that you have the rocks being moved from one point to other. All those parts of the facility, we are told, has been removed because according to the workers here, when the company took over, they decided to sell off portions of those particular facilities, saying that they are obsolete and no longer needed. And they say that no new equipment has been brought in, except some few additional ones that were brought in.
And there's also a huge controversy around some amounts of money that Jospin Group of Company allegedly paid to acquire the mine, which the mine was priced at $17 million. Asabi claims that the only 3.8 million or so had been paid till date, and even that he suggests that they can't find the money.
He makes the point that they've been trying to trace to see how much has been paid, and so far he has just seen receipts of the 3 million. That is what he said he has seen, and so they cannot tell whether indeed the money has been paid, and that is why they are looking to seek answers. And he makes the point that they've been trying to engage the company, and they have so far not been successful. So that's why they went to take over. You can listen to him.
Well, as for tracing, I'm looking at where it's landed, but I've seen receipts worth 3.8 million.
Out of a total of
17 million, without the interest which we are calculating, because in the agreement if he defaults and he pays interest. He hasn't. But then even the original 17 million, 3.8 million. And that's about it. Peanuts. It's a paltry sum. And
you're saying that has not been paid?
No, it's not.
And Joseph, we already know that Jospon is already in court with government over this matter. I've also seen court documents in which the Attorney General's Department has entered an appearance challenging the Jospon position on this. But as Asamabo seemed to suggest today, that there is nothing that stops him from going ahead with the processes to eventually sell off the mine and take over it permanently.
In fact, he insists that they are acting within law, and that if anyone believes they have breached any rules or any order from any court, they should go ahead and cite him for contempt. And that as far as he knows, and he's aware, the matter was taken to court. The court did inform them that they are not appropriately served the AG's office. So he says, as it stands, nothing stops the state from triggering the aspect of the agreement that allows the state to advocate the terms of the diversity if it feels that certain terms have been breached.
There's no court issue. I've kept on saying this to you several times. There's no court issue. There isn't a court issue. But when we try to abrogate it with a letter, he rushed to the court without serving the Attorney General properly. And the court said, hey, actually, you can't do that. And he never came back. So if he wants and he thinks that is a court issue while we have taken over, there's only one route, which is cite a contempt, isn't it? And so why hasn't he done it for a whole week since I came here last week? Last week Thursday we moved.
Government is acting within law.
Sorry? Certainly. I'm not a small boy. I wouldn't move if there's no legal basis. I'm standing on solid grounds. I'm standing on the agreement. Do we have a copy of the agreement? I can show them. Maybe I'll show it at the hospital. It's in my book, my file. And it will tell you that clause 13 says that if he breaches any agreement, we have a right as a state to re-enter, to repossess or abrogate. And that's exactly what we've done. It's simple English, not Latin, no Chinese, no Greek.
There are also accusations leveled against Asamabo himself that this action is part of a strategy targeting Joseph Siajipon, the man who owns Zoom Lion, and the other companies, including, of course, the Jospon group of companies. That this is all part of a government witch hunt. Asamabo has been responding to that when he visited this mine.
It's not a question of somebody don't like anybody and all that kind of stuff. I've told you before, I don't hate anybody. And indeed, the Jospon and the group of people, I know them. The whole Zoom Lion started with me when I was local government minister in 2006 when sanitation became a problem. And that's how Zoom Lion came, and that's the foundation. So I know him, and I try to protect a Ghanaian business. We try to do it. But the Ghanaian business, you fall foul and you don't listen and you don't want to rectify it, and it's like your personal property. I'm afraid I don't work for personal people. I work for the state.
And Joseph, what in all this? More than 1,000 workers who may be affected. You've spoken to some of them. What is your position on all this?
In fact, when we arrived here at Mr. was in a meeting with them, managed to join that meeting. Workers were actually backing government, saying that they are happy that he has come in to take over it. They say that they expect government to actually find a new investor who has enough funds and will actually invest the money into the company, because they believe that over the past years they haven't seen much development in the manner that they would have wanted it to be, and that is why they are struggling. There are some individuals who operate in the actual mines. They are the ones who are doing the mining. They also talk about the percentage, the arrangement. They say that it was simply favorable, aside from the fact that they were not getting documents to make the terms were very difficult for them to be able to meet the demand. And so they back this move to stay and take it. We actually, our last port of call was the hospital, which operates premises of this particular company belongs to the doctors there.
Joseph, sorry, we need to. The line isn't great right now, but in essence, what the workers have told you is that they support the move by government to take over the mine, the diamond mine there. Sofa Lisa is the group head of communications at the Jospon group of companies, and she joins us on the telephone line right now. Madam Lisa, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Hello, good evening. Thank you very much.
Let's start with this court matter. You heard Asamoah Boateng say, calling the bluff of Just Pond, that if indeed if there's anything like that, you should cite him for contempt. Is there anything that stops him from doing what he's done today?
Oh, definitely. Evans, thank you very much for the opportunity. As I spoke to you earlier, there is a court writ, that was sent to the Attorney General's Department, and thank you. And that was when from the Attorney General, from DIC in April, saying that they wanted to abrogate the contract. And we said, well, this contract doesn't just exist by itself. It exists with certain laid down procedures. And so we appealed to the Attorney General, to call to the Attorney General to order that this thing cannot happen because there is a laid down procedure. And so the writ was filed on the 24th of May 2009, and there was a response by the Attorney General, which was I think it's the same May, and so this case is being looked at the court. So if Mr. Asamoah Boateng says there is no case, well, I don't know where he stands on that. Maybe I don't know if they don't respect the court and what it has to say. But for us, we know there is an issue at the court, and once it's dated 2019, it tells you it's a fresh case, and that is something that we are sticking to. And we think that because of this particular rate, which a conclusion has not been given or the court has not given a determination to, we think that it is illegal, to just come and say we are taking over.
And that is his point. That was his point to you today. That if you believe so, cite him for contempt. It's
a process, isn't it? You don't just jump and go to cite contempt. It's a process.
So has the contempt process started?
So if we think it requires that, we will do it.
But is this something that lawyers have been instructed to do?
If it requires that, we will do it.
You're not at that point yet to make that determination.
If it requires that, we will do it.
On the controversial subject of first, he disputes that the cost of the mine, 17 million, he says it's peanuts. And he says even that after all these years, Just One has only paid 3.8 million. He says he's only seen receipts and cannot confirm the state is now tracking. What's your reaction to that?
Evan, thanks for this. To be honest, I don't know where he's coming from that he's saying that this survey. I don't know what kind of analysis he has done of the financial position before or at the time the mine was being bought, because this is a mine that had become defunct. And if you check the word defunct, and we're even describing it as defunct, meaning it was not functioning at all, it wasn't working, and it had been closed down. And after several years of getting people to buy, we decided that a state facility like this should not just go out or should not just go to waste. So we approached the DIC in a competitive
and that is a divestiture implementation committee.
Exactly, sorry. And we bought it at that price. And the DIC agreed
at the price of $17 million.
Of $17 million. It is not an individual determination as to how much it should cost, but at the cost at which the DIC sold it, that is what we bought.
Have you paid all the 17 million as of today?
No, because we are discussing with government. We had said that government owes us in certain areas, so we are in conversation with government to use some of that indebtedness to defray this cost, and that is a conversation that is going on.
Can you explain how government came to owe you?
There has been several projects that we do with government, and through that they owe us.
So you mean
we're expecting some payments to be done to defray some of this cost, which is feasible.
This is debts owed you in what other? Because I know Just One Group of Companies is a huge company. You own Zoom, Lion, etc. Are you talking about debt in other areas?
In other areas of our operation.
Of your operation. But
Yes,
but we're talking about a particular business you purchased, which is a mine, and you 70 million. As Martin's position is that what you have, your obligations as far as that is concerned, your other obligations should not affect this obligation.
Well, I don't know if he's seen the sales and purchase agreement. And I think in Ghana, we are guided by laws, policies, regulations, what is feasible and what is not feasible. So if we are allowed by law to do whatever we are doing, as in using a debt to defray another one. For instance, if I owe you and you also have some money with me, you can just say that, so far, look, this your 10 cedis, I cannot pay. Can you take 10 cedis out of the money I have given you, or this thing I have given you to pay for that? I think it is allowed. So if we ask for that kind of concession from government, I don't think
so this concession is different. In the purchase agreement you signed with the DIC and government?
It's in the conversation we are having with the government.
Now, so how much of the 70 million have you paid?
3.8 million.
So that is the figure that Asama Batin mentions?
Yes. I mean, the last time I heard, he said he can't even see that money.
He said he can't find it. He only
I don't know
receipts.
if he believes now that there is some payment, because at the time he said it was a 2.7. Now it's a 3.8. But, well, that's him.
But Lisa, you bought this mine in 2011, correct?
Yes.
This is 7 years down the line, and you still haven't...
Only 7 years.
Well, 7 years is a long time. You still haven't paid the 17 million you bought it for. Only 3 million has been paid.
Because of the conversation we're having with government.
But you mentioned that conversation has nothing to do with the mine itself, has everything to do with Zoomlion and other businesses that you own.
I said other businesses that the government owe us on. So we want to use that indebtedness of government to defray some of the cost in here. It is allowed.
So this conversation you had with the previous government or this government?
With the successive governments.
Okay. And they agree that this arrangement is something that will work?
The conversation is still going on.
For 7 years, it hasn't been resolved yet?
Yeah, the conversation is still going on.
As we speak, the state is taking over the firm, the mining company. Asama Batin confirmed today that the committee has been giving up until 6 months, and the intention, he announced, is to sell it off. They are going to open this bid. Anybody who can purchase and make a bid should come. And this is a vehicle, a train that has already moved, from what he says, and it appears that it's not going to return to your care.
Let's wait and see. As we said, the case is in court, and we, as responsible organization, we want to believe that we all want to go by the courts of this nation, because these are competent courts. We live in a democracy, we believe in the rule of law, and we believe in the competency of our courts. So we want to believe that the court will give the final determination of how this case should go. Whatever the court says, that is what we will go by. And so he has said what he wants to say. As I said, we are not in a banter with government. We have filed a writ at the court, and we want to allow the court to have its due process.
Jospon claims to have invested $20 million into the mine since you purchased it. Today, Asama Batin says he saw nothing. My reporter just tells me that in a conversation with the workers, they say they haven't seen any single investment in terms of equipment, buildings, machinery in the last 7 years since you took over. So where is the 20 million investment?
I would even say that the presence of a staff there is an evidence that something has been done. Because if the thing was defunct, it means that the facility was closed down. To date,
how do you mean? Are you saying that the 70 million is to what? Pay salaries? When you say the presence of workers?
No, I'm saying that if you say you haven't seen evidence of anything, I'm saying that the presence of somebody being there alone is evidence that something has been done. It doesn't. I don't know if he knows how the situation was before we came on board. And if you knew how it was and you're speaking to it now, then maybe we can be on the same level. And what I'm saying is that if I say I am building a house, until you see the actual structure, the superstructure, when you see the foundation, you must think nothing has happened. I can tell you in confidence that the amount of money that has been spent on feasibility studies and other assessments and other developmental activities in that area, if we put together, it might even be more than the 20 million. But it's not for him to see, because when you're putting up a huge thing, it's not everything about it that is tangible. For now, If I give you the papers and the receipts that goes with the feasibility studies and other things that have taken place there, you will know that it is even more. It might even be more than the 20 million that we're talking about. But a feasibility study, it is not a building. Feasibility study.
So the 20 million was invested in feasibility study
and other developmental activities, and the fact that
specifically
is still running.
Specifically, development activities.
I have given you some, and the hospital is running. Listen, the hospital is running.
They went to the hospital. They said they saw nothing. It just so found that there's nothing there. They don't even have electricity.
They are not having electricity. Yes, it's possible because that electricity had been cut for some time now. But from 2011 till now, do you know how much we spent on feeding the place with electricity? Do you know the amount of electricity owed at the time we took over, and how much payments we have made until now? And the hospital was virtually going to be closed down because there was nobody to run it. But it's been running from then till now. The basic schools have been running from then till now. You will say that teachers have saying that some of their salaries have not been paid, but it's been running till now because everything that we do depends on whatever monies we have to receive from somewhere to pay us. And we have gone out of our way to take loans to pay for some of these things.
Okay.
And I'm saying that it is not, if you saw what was there and what is there now, then you will appreciate the investments that have been made. But if you didn't see that, then I'm not sure what premise on which you are saying that you have not seen any evidence.
I'm grateful that you joined us. That's so far, Lisa. She's a group head of communications for the Josman Group of Companies. Working on the phone lines to see if we can get Stephen Asamoah to join us as well. News Night starts right now.